Have you ever felt like everything around you is falling apart? That no matter how hard you try to stay calm, the external chaos seems to be reflected inside you? Today we're going to delve into the wisdom of one of the most profound thinkers in modern psychology, Carl Jung. I'll reveal the 3 fundamental keys he discovered for maintaining your inner calm and reigning over circumstances, no matter how difficult they may be. Before we begin, I want you to take a moment, breathe deeply and ask yourself, when was the last time you truly felt at peace with yourself? Not that false sense of calm that comes after distracting yourself with social media or entertainment, but that genuine tranquility that emerges when you're completely aligned with your inner being. Jung understood that most of us live in a constant state of agitation. We run from one place to another, meeting expectations, chasing external goals, but rarely do we stop to listen to what we really need. And it's precisely in this mismatch where anxiety, stress, and the feeling that something fundamental is missing begins. The first key that Jung offers us to maintain calm is a conscious connection with our unconscious. It sounds complex, but it's actually simpler than it seems. Your unconscious is not a dark monster to be feared. It's a powerful ally that constantly sends you signals about what you need to be in balance. Have you noticed how sometimes you have a hunch about something, an intuition that you can't explain, but that feels extraordinarily true? Or those recurring dreams that seem to want to communicate something important to you? These are not coincidences. They are manifestations of your unconscious trying to guide you. Jung discovered that when we ignore these signals, when we repress emotions or deny aspects of ourselves, we create an internal division that inevitably generates anxiety. It's like trying to keep a ball submerged in water. You can do it for a while, but eventually the pressure becomes unsustainable and the ball emerges forcefully, often in a chaotic way. Reconnecting with your unconscious begins with something as simple as paying attention. When you feel a strong emotion, instead of suppressing or rationalizing it, allow yourself to feel it completely. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What need am I not addressing? This internal dialogue is the first step to establishing that connection that Jung considered essential for inner tranquility. Another fundamental aspect of this reconnection is paying attention to your dreams. Jung was a pioneer in dream analysis, not as mere nocturnal fantasies, but as direct bridges to the unconscious. Start keeping a dream journal. Write down what you remember upon waking without immediately judging or interpreting. Over time, you'll begin to notice patterns, recurring symbols that will give you clues about what your inner being is processing. This practice is not a luxury or a curiosity. According to Jung, it's a vital necessity to maintain psychic balance. When you establish this dialogue with your unconscious, you begin to align with your totality, and it's precisely in that alignment where you find the first form of lasting calm. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you could navigate difficulties with a perfectly calibrated internal compass. If instead of feeling lost or overwhelmed by decisions, you could access a deep wisdom that already exists within you. This is what Jung invites us to discover. But the connection with the unconscious is just the beginning. The second key that Jung offers us to maintain calm and reign over circumstances is the integration of the shadow. This is where many prefer not to look, but paradoxically, it's where one of the greatest potentials for transformation lies. The shadow, in Jungian terms, is not simply the negative. It's everything you've relegated to the darkness of your psyche, emotions you consider unacceptable, desires you judge as inappropriate, aspects of yourself you've learned to deny because they don't fit with the image you want to project. Think about the people who irritate you the most. Those who, with just a gesture or a word, manage to knock you off center. Jung would say they're activating aspects of your shadow, showing you parts of yourself that you haven't wanted to see or accept. This is a revolutionary concept. What disturbs us most externally is often a reflection of what we haven't integrated internally. True calm doesn't come from avoiding what makes us uncomfortable, but from integrating it. When you recognize and accept all facets of your being, Even those you consider dark or negative, something extraordinary happens. They cease to have power over you. You no longer need to spend energy repressing or denying them, and that liberated energy becomes a source of vitality and clarity. How do you begin this process of integration? First, by allowing yourself to be honest with yourself. Recognize those moments when you react disproportionately, when you feel anger, jealousy, fear, or any emotion you tend to judge. Instead of criticizing yourself, ask, what part of myself am I denying here? What is this reaction showing me about what I need to accept? Jung taught us that the shadow, when kept in darkness, grows and becomes more powerful. But when you bring it into the light of consciousness, when you recognize it without judgment, it begins to transform. It doesn't disappear because it's an integral part of who you are, but it integrates in a way that no longer sabotages your inner peace. This work with the shadow isn't easy. It requires courage to look at what you've avoided, perhaps throughout your entire life. But the reward is invaluable, a sense of completeness, authenticity, and above all a calm that doesn't depend on external circumstances, because you're no longer at war with yourself. Imagine being able to face difficult situations without them completely destabilizing you. Imagine being able to maintain your center even when everything around you seems chaotic. This is the promise of shadow integration. Not immunity to problems, but resilience to navigate them with grace and wisdom. And here we come to the third key that Jung offers us to maintain calm and reign, the process of individuation. This concept may sound abstract, but in essence, it's deeply practical and transformative. Individuation, according to Jung, is the process of fully becoming who you're meant to be. Not what others expect of you, not what society considers acceptable or successful, but the authentic and complete expression of your unique being. Jung believed that each of us has a unique purpose, a special contribution to make to the world. And when we deviate from that purpose, when we live lives that don't resonate with our deepest essence, we experience an internal disconnection that manifests as anxiety, depression, or a persistent feeling of emptiness. Individuation isn't selfishness. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Jung maintained that only when you fully become who you are can you genuinely offer your gifts to the world. Only when you live from your authentic center can you relate to others from a place of integrity and true generosity. This process begins with a seemingly simple but profound question. What do I really want? Not what you should want, not what would be convenient to want, but what your soul genuinely yearns for. For many, this question is bewildering. We've spent so much time responding to external expectations that we've lost touch with our authentic desires. But Jung assures us that wisdom is still there, waiting for us to rediscover it. A practical way to reconnect with your true yearnings is to pay attention to what energizes you. What activities make you lose track of time? What conversations leave you feeling more alive? When do you experience that sensation of flow, where everything seems to align perfectly? These aren't trivial questions. They're direct clues to your path of individuation. And when you begin to honor them, when you adjust your life to reflect more of what makes you feel authentically alive, something magical happens. Anxiety decreases, clarity increases, and that inner calm you sought begins to naturally establish itself. Jung also warns us about the dangers of ignoring this call to individuation. When we suppress our essential nature in favor of what seems safe or acceptable, we create what he called a false personality, or a mask, the persona. This mask can work for a while, it may even bring us some external success, but the cost is high. Internal disconnection, diminished vital energy, and eventually, crises that force us to face what we've been avoiding. True calm, according to Jung, doesn't come from controlling the external world, but from aligning with your inner truth. When you live from your authentic center, external storms may continue to exist, but they no longer have the power to completely uproot you. It's like being a tree with deep roots. The wind can bend your branches, but your essence remains firm. These three keys, Connection with the unconscious, integration of the shadow, and the process of individuation aren't isolated steps, but interconnected aspects of the same journey towards psychic integrity. They feed and reinforce each other, creating a virtuous circle of self-discovery and transformation. And although this path may seem abstract or esoteric, Jung was emphatic that it's deeply practical. It's not about escaping reality, but about inhabiting it more fully. It's not a rejection of daily responsibilities, but a way of approaching them from a place of greater awareness and inner power. Think about how you currently face your challenges. Do you react from fear, anxiety, or the need for control? Or can you respond from a place of clarity, confidence, and acceptance? The difference between these two approaches is precisely what Jung wanted to help us understand and transform. The good news is that this inner work, although profound, doesn't require special circumstances to begin. You can start right now, from where you are, with what you have. Begin by paying attention to your dreams, your emotional reactions, what energizes you and what drains you. These observations, seemingly simple, are the first step on the path to inner calm that Jung invites us to discover. And as you advance on this path, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your relationship with the external world changes. You no longer feel constantly threatened or overwhelmed because you've found a center of stability within yourself. Others' opinions no longer have the power to completely destabilize you because you've connected with your own inner truth. And life's inevitable challenges no longer seem like insurmountable catastrophes, but opportunities to grow and deepen your understanding. This is the true promise of Jungian work. Not a life without problems, but a life where problems no longer define or control you. A life where, even amid uncertainty, you can maintain a sense of purpose and direction. A life where calm isn't something you occasionally experience, but a state of being that naturally emerges from your connection with your totality. But there's something else that Jung understood deeply. This journey isn't just individual, but also collective. As each of us does this inner work, we contribute to the healing of the collective unconscious, that shared dimension of the human psyche that Jung described as the repository of our common myths, symbols, and archetypes. When you transform, when you integrate your shadows and live from your authenticity, you don't just benefit personally, you also create a field of possibility for others to do the same. Your calm becomes an anchor in the midst of the collective storm. Your authenticity inspires others to discover theirs, and your courage to look within opens paths for others to dare to do the same. This is perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of Jungian psychology, the understanding that inner work isn't an act of isolation, but of profound connection. That by healing our internal divisions, we contribute to healing the divisions in our world. That by finding our own calm, we help create a more balanced and compassionate world. And now, let me speak to you directly, from heart to heart. I know this path isn't always easy. I know that looking within can be scary, especially if you've spent a long time avoiding it. I know that integrating your shadows requires courage, and that the process of individuation can sometimes feel lonely. But I also know this: the alternative, living disconnected from your truth, in constant reactivity to the external world, without access to your deepest wisdom, is much more costly. It's a life of half-light when you were created to shine fully. Jung showed us that each of us has within everything we need to transform. It doesn't depend on perfect external circumstances, unlimited resources, or the approval of others. It depends on your willingness to embark on this inner journey, to face what you've been avoiding, and to reclaim the parts of yourself you've denied. And every small step you take in this direction counts. Every time you choose consciousness over reactivity, every time you dare to look at a shadow, every time you honor your inner truth, even when it's uncomfortable, you're building that inner calm we've been talking about. It's not something you achieve once and for all, but a continuous practice, a commitment renewed each day to your growth and evolution. There will be moments of regression, days when old patterns seem to take control again. This too is part of the process. The difference is that now you have the tools to recognize it and consciously redirect your energy. Jung's invitation is clear. Don't wait for the external world to calm down to find your inner peace. Don't postpone your well-being until all conditions are perfect. Start now, from where you are, with a simple decision to pay attention, to be curious about what emerges in you, to honor your truth even when no one else sees it. Because in the end, as Jung deeply understood, true calm isn't the absence of storms, but the ability to stay centered within them. It's not avoiding challenges, but developing the inner strength to navigate them with grace and wisdom. It's not controlling the uncontrollable, but cultivating that connection with your being that remains stable no matter what happens around you. And from that place of inner calm, you discover what it truly means to reign over your life. Not from domination or rigid control, but from the tranquil sovereignty of one who knows their intrinsic value. Not from fear of what might happen, but from confidence in your ability to respond with integrity to whatever life presents. This is Carl Jung's legacy for each of us. A path to wholeness that allows us to experience not just momentary calm, but a lasting peace that emerges from living in alignment with our deepest truth. A path that invites us to reclaim our inner authority and, from that place, contribute significantly to the healing of our world. Are you ready to take the first step? Or perhaps you've already begun this journey and need to renew your commitment to it. Wherever you find yourself at this moment, remember that you're not alone. Jung's wisdom, the experience of those who have walked this path before you, and even this space we're sharing now, are here to support you. Close your eyes for a moment and allow this idea to settle within you. You have within you everything you need to maintain your calm and reign over your life. Not as a tyrant who controls with a heavy hand, but as a wise ruler who leads from love, understanding, and integrity. And now, I'd like you to share in the comments, which of these 3 Jungian keys resonates most with you at this moment in your life? Is it the connection with your unconscious, the integration of your shadows, or the process of individuation? Or perhaps all 3 aspects call to you in some way? Your experience is not only valuable for your own growth, but can illuminate the path for others who are at a similar point. If this message has touched something in you, I invite you to share it with those you believe could benefit from hearing it. Sometimes the right words reach us just when we need them most, and by sharing, you become a channel for that wisdom to reach whoever is ready to receive it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos where we'll continue exploring these profound ideas that have the power to transform not only our individual experience, but also our collective contribution. Thank you for your presence, for your openness, and for being part of this community that values inner growth as a path toward a more conscious and compassionate world. Remember, your inner work isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and every step you take toward your own integrity is a gift not only to yourself, but to all of us. See you in the next video, and until then, may Jung's wisdom accompany you on your path to that inner calm that allows you to reign with grace and authenticity in every area of your life.